Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Students Oriented Anatomy. I am Dr. Saira Jawed. Today's topic of discussion is the most requested topic up till now regarding the markings or impressions on the human bones. The markings or impressions on the bones are roughened areas on the bones which can be raised from the surface or can be depressed areas. For example, this is the upper end of the humerus. Humerus is the bone of the arm. Here you can see that the greater and lesser tuberosities and head of humerus are raised from the surface, whereas the bicipital groove is a depressed area. Collectively, all of these will be labeled as markings or impressions on the upper end of the humerus. These impressions actually help the bone to carry out its function, and they also help the bone in joining with the other bone, that is formation of the joint. Markings on the bones develop due to attachment of the muscles, or it can develop due to the passage of blood vessels and nerves through them, and they can also tell you from where one bone attaches to another bone, that is where one bone articulates with the other bone. There are certain impressions on the bone because of the joining together of one bone to the other bone. This is known as articulation of the bone. As you can see here, there are several bones in the human body, and the bones are in different regions of the body. In order to identify or to differentiate one bone from the other, there are several markings, or you can call them impressions or features of the bones which differentiate one bone from the other. Here you can also see that the bones are bilateral. That is, there are two types, or you can say the right and left sided bones. So in there are also markings. These markings or impressions on the bones also help in differentiating between the sides of the bone. That is, with the help of the impressions or surfaces of the bones or markings on the bones, we can differentiate that this bone is of which side of the body. That is, either it is a right-sided bone or a left-sided bone. Let us now take an example of humerus, which is the bone of arm, shown in red color in this picture. Like this, humerus is the bone of the upper limb. So we have got two limbs, right side and left sided upper limb. So we have got two bones, right sided humerus and left sided humerus, and there are several muscles attached on the humerus. For example, these are certain muscles which are attached on the humerus, and I am removing them one by one. You know that muscle has got an origin and an insertion, and on the origin and insertion the muscle is attached on the bone. On the attachment site, it leaves a impression on the bone where you can identify that the muscle is attached over there, and you can also identify with the help of those impressions the type of the bone, that is the name of the bone, whether it is humerus, femur, radius, ulna, or you can also identify the side of the bone, like whether it is right side or left side. So one kind of impression is because of the attachment of the muscles on the bone or the passage of the tendons, arteries or nerves on the bone. And the other kind of impression is where one bone joins with the other bone. For example, here humerus is joining with the scapula. So a joint is being formed. I'm removing the muscles, and you can see here that the humerus is joining the scapula and there is an articulation. So this kind of impression is an articulating impression. It is an articular impression, and here you can see that from the other end, from the distal end, the humerus is joining with the bones of the arm, radius and ulna. Fine. Okay, let us study these bony impressions with the help of example of a kettle. You can see that all of these are kettles, and the function of all of the kettles are the same, that is the storage of the tea, but the shape is different. Likewise, you can see here that this is humerus. It has got a head, and it is named as head of humerus, and femur has also got a head. So both of them are articulating, and the function of both of the heads are that they are going to join with the other bone. They are going to form a ball and socket joint. But because of the location and because of the type of the bone is different, therefore the shape of the head is different. Just like you can see, the lids of the kettle are different in each of the kettles, although the function is the same. Let us now discuss the functions of bony impressions. The bony impressions, which are articular in nature, enable the joints to slide past each other and lock the bones in place. They also provide structural support to the muscles and connective tissue. They stabilize and protect the nerves, vessels, and connective tissue. When you know the parts of the bones, it really helps you clinically, especially in radiology when you have to read the x-rays and the CT scans. You can also identify various fractures, and you can label them on which part of the bone the fracture is present. You can also identify the displacements. For example, in this radiograph, you can see the shoulder dislocation, and certain bone diseases and their locations can be identified if you know the markings or impressions or parts of the bones. So there are two types of bony impressions or markings. One is on the articular surfaces that is articular impressions, and the other ones are on the non-articular surfaces that are known as non-articular markings or impressions. So first of all, we should know that what does the term articular means. In the medical terminology, articulation is referred to the place, or articular refers to the place in the body where two bones are connected or are joined with one another. Where two bones meet one another, we say that the two bones are articulating with one another. The impressions on the articular surfaces can be remembered with the help of a mnemonic forceful catch, where F indicates fossa, the other F in the full indicates facet, C indicates capitulum, T refers to trochlea, and C and H refers to condyle and head. My dear students, if you like my effort, then do share and subscribe, and also give constructive feedback in the comments section below. The impressions on the non-articular surfaces can be remembered with the help of some trucks cross the parks and malls, where S indicates spine, T indicates tubercle, C indicates crest, and the alternative names for crest are line and ridge. And here the whole T, H, and E represent tuberosity, hamulus, and epicondyle. The P in parks is process, and M in malls is malleolus.